Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching. I am your host, the Report of the Week. This is a random video, you can say. It's a random miscellaneous video, because I was looking around. I think you've heard this explanation more than enough, but it's the honest truth. I was looking around, I was browsing and perusing the food news sites. I was trying to figure out, well, what to review. Is there anything I can go out and review? I was looking, and the only highlight that was going on was some release from Arby's, and they called it like it's just being done on a test basis, right? But they call it like the Arbinator sandwich, and it is repulsive. I mean, it is beyond this. It is the only thing I've ever seen from Arby's that physically makes me gag. And I mean, you could look the thing up. It's on grubgrade.com. And see it for yourself. That is one of the most repulsive looking sandwiches I've seen, and I figure, it's just very, I don't know, it's just nothing that I would ever review. It couldn't pay me to do it. So I thought to myself, well, we're at a blank slate here. We've got nothing. Well, what am I gonna make a video on? I was thinking to myself, and something occurred to me. I thought, well, I kind of want to talk about bagels. I mean, it's something that I've never really talked about in depth. It's something that I really haven't even ever reviewed, at least to great length. I mean, maybe considering all the videos that are up there, I might have tried out a bagel at some point or another. But I can't say that I'm a bagel aficionado. I can't say that I review bagels left and right and up and down. But I eat bagels. I eat bagels, and it's something that I can certainly talk about. And I figure, well, if I talked about Starbucks water for 30 minutes, then I can talk about bagels too. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about bagels today. Bagels, in my opinion, I have an interesting history with said bagels. Now, if you don't know what a bagel is it's a type of creature that is composed of bread exclusively for the most part. And, think of like a tire, right? Like a rubber tire. And a tire has the hole in the center, and it's surrounded by the rubber, That's kind of like what a bagel is, but with bread instead. And bagels can be interesting if they're done right. If it's done by a good place, a reputable establishment, say like a deli, a bakery, or just a bagel shop, which you find a lot of those up in New York. They could be fine plain. But one fun thing that I always like about bagels is that they're pretty easy to eat, and they're customizable. You can get a lot of stuff with bagels, in my opinion. You can get all types of bagels just to begin with. You can get a plain bagel. You can get a salt bagel, where they'll put little salt on the bagel. You can get an onion bagel, a poppy seed bagel, a sesame seed bagel, an everything bagel, a garlic bagel, and so many more things. You can get like these special bagels with their own concoctions, like cinnamon bagels and blueberry bagels, and they have so much room for customization that even if it's just a bagel, you can have it so many different ways, so many different types, that really the possibilities are endless. And then, not even factoring in the types of actual bagel you can get, you could put on different spreads, could put butter, cream cheese, blue cheese. You can put on, as I said, different cream cheese spreads. You can get there's some places that offer a lot of customization in terms of these spreads, where you can get just standard butter. You can get like a strawberry type spread, a blueberry type spread. I even got, for myself, I got like this vanilla honey type of spread. There's a lot of room for creativity in terms of bagels, and because of that, as simple as it is, there's so much to it, so many layers of stuff to it, that it's one of those things that has an appeal to me. Because you can go to a bagel place and you could just get so many different things, and that's what I like about it. It can be fun. There's so many different, you could say, well, all right, I'm going to get the blueberry bagel, and then I could try it with this spread, then I could try it with that spread, I could try it with butter, I could try it with this and that. So that's one thing. I guess that's why I kind of like the appeal of bagels, because there's so much to it, and you could have so much literal fun with it. Sometimes you could even kind of like put a bagel on like the car antenna. You could kind of spin it around a little bit, and you could have fun with that too. So the possibilities are endless. You can, you could do anything you want with bagels. You could probably, if done correctly, you could even take over the world with bagels. They're such a valuable tool and asset, and can be used for almost anything and everything. And that's why I like the bagels. But anyway, what I was getting at is the first significant type of bagel that I ever had was the everything bagel. And I first started having that at Dunkin' Donuts. And, I thought it was pretty good for what it was worth. It's an everything bagel. It comes with a lot of stuff. They call it an everything bagel for a reason. It has... Every place does the everything bagels differently, but it usually has like sesame seeds, poppy seeds, some garlic, sometimes onion, some salt, all on this bagel. And it's just always a very flavorful bagel. So that's the first thing that I was exposed to. And I used to think that the Dunkin' Donuts bagels were really good. But then I had the chance of being able to try a local, New York deli. And nowadays, the Dunkin' Donuts bagels are something that I don't really eat much. And, well, a lot of the time they do taste like they've been out for like a week in the open air, and they don't taste the freshest. But they're acceptable. They're acceptable, but there's better out there. My first experience with what I would say real quality bagels came from a local deli, believe it or not. And sometimes I think the local places, or at least the localized, regionalized chains, can kind of do certain types of foods the best, better than a national chain like Dunkin' Donuts, for instance. And this local chain, it's up in New York, they're still around, it's called Zimmy Bagels. A lot of people, they call them Zimmies, but it's Zimmy, Z-I-M-I, Bagels, and it's in southern New York. If you ever find yourself in the area, I recommend you check them out. I used to be a very frequent customer there, and I would go to that place all the time, and I would get bagels there, and they made them in-house, and they just did them better than any other place that I've ever had them. I'm not going to make the assertion that they're the best bagels in the world. I'm sure there's places out there that I've never heard of and never been to and never will be to, I should say, that have bagels that might be exponentially better. But the best bagels that I have ever personally had are from this local deli there, and they're at a pretty good price. But these bagels, it all comes down into preparation and freshness, I feel. But these bagels are just so soft. They were just done perfectly. Where like the inside of the bagel was, really soft and nice, but the outside shell still had a little bit of not a crunch, but just had some texture and some bite to it, and just the way they were able to do it was remarkable to me. And that's absolutely that place. I used to go there all the time back in 2015, 2016, and their bagels were something else. But that was the first experience that I really had with, I would say, top-tier bagels. Not just the stuff from Dunkin' Donuts, but real, legitimate, good quality, New York-style bagels. And after having those, I said, you know what? I'm going to embrace the bagel culture. I'm going to embrace the bagel life, despite all of the legal ramifications and potential consequences. I said, you know what? I'm going to embrace that bagel life. So I did. And I would go over there, I'd get the bagels almost every single day, believe it or not. And I was able to, live off of that. That was like my meal for a while, because there was just so much to it. Could even have bagel sandwiches, and it was just a delicious meal all around. Well, anyway, fast forward a few years, and I found a good bagel place here in Florida, believe it or not. It's called Bagel 13. It's over there. You can see it out the window, I would hope. And Bagel 13. It's it's pretty crazy how it is. I tried to, it's a regionalized chain first and foremost, to say that outright. It's a regional chain. They have like maybe a dozen locations or so. So they're definitely out there. They're established. They have an established presence. But Bagel 13, the thing that I like about them is, number one, I think their bagels are of good quality and pretty affordable, and they taste good. Number two, though, I like that they have all these special spreads and everything, and they just offer a lot of customization that I haven't been able to see at a number of other bagel places. But anyway, I was able to procure some Bagel 13 bagels. The first one I went to had some difficulties. I don't know what's going on with that, but I was able to find this Bagel 13 here, and I was able to get some good, well, some good stuff that I want to kind of show to you. All right. Well, number one, the bagel, first and foremost. Should mention this, what I always get in terms of a bagel, I usually just get a plain bagel with butter toasted. I think when it's toasted, it helps the butter kind of absorb into the bagel a bit more, you can say, and it just leads to just a richer, more flavorful bagel overall. But there's my bagel. You can see in the Bagel 13 wrapping. Put that there. This is my spread. I wanted to try that out too. It's like a vanilla honey spread. I found that very, very interesting. And then of course the knife. There you go. There's a good view of the knife to apply said spread. So I know I've kind of kept you waiting for 10 minutes, but let's finally take a look at this Bagel 13 bagel, shall we? Sometimes this has happened at other places. The butter will kind of absorb through the wrapping there. But that happens. That's what happens with these bagels sometimes. You just got to be a little careful with that. I know. Let's hope it's a good one. There it is. There's the bagel. Yep. There it is. Here's a bagel. That's what it looks like. And let me put this here on top of these napkins. Here's a better view of it, kind of a cross section. I know if just the earthy tones and the light, sometimes it doesn't show up the best, but hope you can see it there, at least at a distance, or if it's more in the dark there. You can see anyway that it is applied with the butter. You can see that there. And I mean, it looks like a pretty decent bagel, so I'm just going to try it and give you a quick little synopsis of how I find it, and then we'll try it with that spread too, because I've never had this spread with the bagels, so I'm very interested. So let me try this out first. You know, I'm not even gonna lie. The last bagel I had from this establishment was better, I'll be honest. I know you hear me going on this whole long tirade in support of bagels, and then I try the bagel and it could even be better, but well, that's just the way things go. It's just I get the bagels, and just as with anything else, you can't always guarantee their quality. Usually it's good more times than it is not, but nothing's perfect. That should be a good example of that. The bagel itself is, you know, it's pretty good, but I just found that it was a little more dry than I like. You could say it could perhaps use a little bit more butter to give it some more moisture, but we'll take one more bite. One thing that can be good about it, though, is these spreads, and that can kind of give you some much needed moisture if the bagel turns out to be a little bit dry. So how about we try that out now? Put that here. No, I'll be honest, I mean, the bagel itself is pretty good. It's just, you know, it's not, it was just a little dry. Sometimes that's a problem that I've found at some bagel places myself, honestly, you know, where it's, well, it could be a little dry, that's all. And you know what? The way things are, I mean, I remember I always used to really like this one Pizza Hut. I know pizza and bagels are very different things, but we're just talking about food quality here. There's this one Pizza Hut that I always used to go to when I was younger, and I always loved the way they prepared the food there. It was just better than any other Pizza Hut that I had ever been to. I had the opportunity to go there for the first time in about a year, a couple weeks ago. I was so looking forward to it, you know. I was so used to this very high quality pizza there, better than any other Pizza Hut chain or franchise or whatever. And I go there and the pizza wasn't as I remembered it. It wasn't as good. And I say, you know what? That's just sometimes the way things are. Sometimes it's better than others. But at the same case, even if it could use some improvement as is, there's things you can do to amplify that flavor. That's why I like bagels so much. Even if it has some existing issues such as dryness, well, you could add a spread to it and, well, improve it in that regard. So, let's try this. This is their vanilla honey spread. Very interesting. I was fascinated by the flavors. Let's try it. Now this is what I'm talking about when it comes down to these spreads on the bagels. It could have its issues. Now a lot of the time I just find it completely fine with just butter on it. But sometimes when that's lacking, these spreads can just make up for any issues that otherwise would have been there, because this is honestly the first time I've ever tried this vanilla honey spread, and this is amazing. Wow, they redeemed themselves with this, I'll tell you that for sure. If you're ever in Florida and you find yourself at one of these places, you gotta get the spread there. You have to. That's a must. I would highly recommend this. You might not even like cream cheese. I don't even really eat cream cheese at all. I just like the butter on the bagels, but I tried out this vanilla honey spread for the first time, literally just now. And, I mean, that is so flavorful. You can really taste the vanilla, and that honey is so much more potent and just flavorful than I ever had anticipated. That bagel might have had a little bit of dryness before, but that flavor that's in this spread completely makes up for it. I think that kind of goes to prove the number of assertions I was making earlier about bagels and how customizable they are. Where they might even have their own issues to begin with, where even the butter might not cut it. If that doesn't, you could try a number of spreads from some establishments, and that could just bring it up to that next level anyway, even if it is dry to begin with. So, that was just a little bit of a, I don't know, I wouldn't say a full-blown review. I recommend those spreads for sure. That's a must, at least for these bagels from this place, because they're able to do it good here. And for a good price, too. The bagel is just like around $1, maybe a little bit over. It was pretty inexpensive. Most bagels are. But all in all, quite frankly, I just wanted to talk about bagels today. I was able to try a Bagel 13 bagel. I wasn't the most impressed by it at first. Then I tried it with this spread, and now actually I give them some redemption at least. They redeemed themselves with that spread. I give credit where credit is due. They did good on that. They really did. Well, with that being said, I just, I didn't really have anything else to talk about today. Again, as I said earlier, I was at a loss for reviews, and I said, I kind of want to talk about bagels today. I said, I'm going to get some bagels. I'm just going to share what's on my mind about bagels. So I did. I tried a bagel. I tried the bagel spread. That's all that I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Support of the Week. Thank you for watching this video. It's just a miscellaneous little food-related talk about bagels. So now you can say, you understand, and, well, you've seen my thoughts on bagels. So thank you for watching. Take care, and that's all that I have for you. Have a great day, and we'll see you probably in the near future with another review. Probably a review. No guarantees, but most likely a review for some sort of new release from somewhere or something of interest. Alright, that's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching, and take care.